Spike Lee of Highest to Lowest. Woo! Some applause. Songwriter and performer Aiyana Lee. And composer Howard Drawson. So please welcome them to the stage. Have a seat, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you all so much for
This is a house?
We are in a house.
You don't got this in Brooklyn, I tell you that.
I need to start with how you first all got connected. Who reached out to who to make this happen? And is it true that Spike reached out to you via Instagram, Aiyana?
Yeah, so very Hollywood crazy, like you couldn't write this and make this up kind of story. Spike DM'd me on Instagram one day, randomly. I look at my DM and it's like a long paragraph and he's just like, "This is the real Spike Lee." I'm like, okay, hold on. I'm reading the paragraph. He's like, "I've listened to your discography, all this stuff." And I'm like, is this really him? You know what I mean? Like, I looked at the verification on Instagram. I'm like, is it a fan page? Is it a fan account that's spoiling me? What's going on? And I woke my mom up. It was 6 a.m. and I was like, I think Spike Lee DM'd me on Instagram. And she's like, nah, girl. I don't know what you're talking about. These dreams getting crazier and crazier. And so I actually met him that day. And we started talking about music and film. He was in he flew out. No. He was in LA and we met that day. And yeah, the rest is history. It started there. Herstory. Wow.
And you signed on. You were like, I'm all in. And
no question.
Yeah. And Spike, what was the direction that you gave to Howard when it came to composing the score? What did you want to achieve?
Well, Howard is a veteran of the team. For many years, he did the orchestration for the great score done by Terrence Blanchard. So we've known each other for a long, long time. And when Denzel called me to do this, I knew I was going to do it before I hung up the phone. And in the original film by the great Kira Kurosawa, Denzel's role played by Tisha Froome was a shoe executive. And so in this one is, as you heard a million times in the film, he has the best ears in the business. So music is my thing. My father, the late great Bill Lee, bass player, he was the first Gordon Lightfoot album, acoustic bass, the first Simon Garfunkel album on the Bob Dylan classic, the solo one out Baby Blue, that's my father on bass, Dylan on harmonica and guitar. So I had that school in a music household, and my father did scores for my NY student films, then She's a Habit, School Days, did the great score for Do the Right Thing, Low Metal Blues. And my father was the top full bassist. Everybody, he was the first call. Bob Dylan with Electric, my father said, can't do it. He refused to play Fender bass. He was a purist, upright, as he called it, tone as is. So my mother had to work because we were the start. But he was not going to play Fender bass. So some of that rubbed off on me later on as I became a filmmaker. Just some things that he was not going to do. And thank God, my mother late believed in him, so she started teaching to keep the family going. Because he was not going to play Fender bass. He was not going to do it.
What's one thing that you learned from your father that you apply to your own scores?
But that was it. Also, he was a big sports fanatic, so I got that. And my mother was a cinephile, but my father hated Hollywood films. So I'm the oldest of five, so I was my mother's movie baby. So all that stuff was implanted in me when I was young.
Absolutely, we see it in your films for sure. I want to talk a little bit about the title track, the Highest to Lowest song, performed at the end. So beautiful. How did you two go about composing that and working in the studio. I was talking with Howard a little bit earlier in that it was actually live in the film, which you do not see a lot.
No, how many times you do that?
I feel like it was beyond 15 times.
No, it wasn't. It was eight takes.
Oh, really? Wow.
Recorded live. It was 8, right?
Yeah, it was.
Really?
It was 8, and it was all recorded live on set, which was
Yes.
what you're hearing is Aiyana in front of the screen, and singing, and Ricky Padgett playing the piano.
But let me
live.
jump in here. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm here to talk about, look, I'm glad to be here. I've never been in a house, like,
Right?
reading room, and like, this is how they do it in LA? Hollywood Hills?
We love a mansion here, yes.
Damn! D-A-Y-U-N. Damn! But anyway, I want to jump in right here and talk about the great Denzel Washington. The man's a genius. Our fifth film together in order, Mo Better Blues, Malcolm X, He Got Game, Inside Man, and now this film, 18, 19 years later between this and Inside. Anyway, as my colleagues have just said, we did 8 takes of this. What's Ricky's last name?
Padgett.
Yeah, so Ricky accompanied her on piano. And so my great editor, Barry Alexander Brown, he was the editor of Malcolm X, Do the Right Thing, School Days, everything we've done together. So while he's cutting the scene, I'm looking at the cut again and again and again, and it's just Ricky singing. And then I'm looking at Denzel's face. I'm saying, oh shit. Because having the best ears in the business of Barry Gordy, something like that. The first verse, couple lines, he knows he's gonna hire her. But as I kept looking at these edits of it, Denzel's making these faces and stuff. He's reacting to music because we did it 8 times. And so when I'm seeing his face, I'm saying, wait a minute. He's signed already. He's thinking about the orchestration. So if you notice it begins solo piano, but end of the song with a 90-piece orchestra. I would never thought doing that if it wasn't Denzel's face. That's his genius. It had no intention of it not being just you singing and solo piano. But Denzel's face told me something else. He said, nah, And so, I know we have a lot of music. So you have ears. So you heard gradually it built from just a solo piano. And that was all the genius of Denzel Washington.
I love that. And Howard, what is the most difficult part of conducting a 90-person orchestra?
And Hammerside Ballroom, 34th Street, across the street from the world's most famous arena, Madison Square Garden. Thank you very much.
I did not conduct.
But just to manage and do the score for, 90 people playing.
Plus,
Well, it's really not any different than composing for a 67-piece orchestra. We just have more instruments. Instead of 6 French horns, we have 8. Instead of 27 violins, we have almost 40. So it really is just a larger sound, more lush sound.
Absolutely. And what would you say is the most key instrument for just the whole score of Highest to Lowest? Did it start with maybe a piano and that inspired you to build on it throughout the film? How did you go about tackling making the score for it?
Well, 100% it's piano. And
tell the story.
I want to mention the great Fergus McCready, who's featured all over the score. Spike, as you know, has discovered so much talent through the years. And he sent me Fergus's record and asked me what I thought. And I immediately became a fan. So he called me up and one day and said, "What are you doing Saturday?" I said, "Nothing." He said, "You want to go to Edinburgh Jazz Festival?" I thought he meant Edinburgh, Ohio or something. So we fly over to Scotland and we saw Fergus play.
No, the trio, the Fergus McCready.
Yeah, the Fergus McCready trio. And they just blew us away. And we met them afterward and found out they're just as great as people as they are musicians. And so Spike wanted to feature them in the score. And we featured one of Fergus's tracks over 3 sequences in the film, 2 of which. Sorry?
What's the name of that track? I forgot.
It's called Stony Gate.
Stony Gate, that's it.
Stony Gate. And the great thing for me is I was able to use them as session musicians on my cues and bring Fergus's sound into the rest of the score as well. And I should note that, recording this in Hammerstein Ballroom in New York City, the ballroom is on the 7th floor of a building. Something that in Los Angeles we can't comprehend. The studio where Fergus and the trio were was on the 3rd floor. And we recorded everything at the same time. We did it old school. Everybody play at once, full tutti. And it came out fantastic. But I can't say enough about Fergus. But to answer your question, yeah.
And also, I don't like when I talk about you and other people. Like, I'm not saying that you without discovery or whatever, but I stumbled upon the Fergus McCready trio and review of their new album that I went at the time on Instagram. So I downloaded the album, loved it, and called you up. What did I say? What are you doing on Saturday? And we flew to Scotland for the Edinburgh Jazz Festival.
Whenever Spike calls me and says, "What are you doing?" And it's you, I know I'm flying.
I love that a lot of discovery of artists is on Instagram for you then. But I want to talk a little bit about a very obvious other feature. You have A$AP Rocky in this film. What kind of direction did you give him in terms of songwriting and making music for the film? Did you want it to be clear that the music is separate from A$AP Rocky? This is Young Felon making music
No,
now?
he did not want Young Felon to be A$AP Rocky, so he wrote it for A$AP. He wrote it for Young Felon, but he's a pro, and I'm telling you, Denzel is a force of nature. And if you don't come with it, you'll be wiped off the screen. I've seen it happen. But A$AP is Harlem, USA. And he was like, "I'm a man too." So they went, especially the recording studio. And here's the thing though. That script, that scene was a script, but that's not the scene we shot. On the low, on the very low, Denzel was studying Nas's album, Illmatic. I didn't know it. A$AP Rocky didn't know it. So we started the scene. Let me see this for a second. Oh, yes. Anyway, as you know, on the set, these are called sides. They're a smaller version of the script. So Denzel starts the scene. I'm like,
You're like, where are we?
it was not what was written. But Denzel Russell, I'm not calling a cut. I'm not that crazy. I'm crazy, but not that crazy. But A$AP was right there. In fact, he did a line. He says, "What is this, a rap battle?" Because that's what it turned into. I'm telling you, that elevated the whole scene. It's like High Noon. Gunslingers. Not a I'll leave John Ford and John Wayne out of it. You know, what they did to the Native Americans in their films. But, went dense, another testament, his genius. It was way better than what was written. And that's really the climax of the film, so that don't come through. It's like, wah, wah.
Can I add something?
Yeah,
as far as Denzel and it comes to the music, we had done a number of takes of Highs to Lows, which was, as we said before, performed live. And they were all great. And there was one take where Denzel put her back on her heels.
Oh, I remember that.
You remember
and I was
that?
in shock.
And
And
most-
he captured in
and
that moment. Yeah.
Most of the take, because I cut it all together from different takes, most of the take was from that take.
Oh, wow.
That was Denzel sensing, I want to get more out of her. And that was the take that comprises most
How
of
many
what's on the
takes were
screen.
in the final edit?
Really about 3 or 4. And they were incredible. And I just want to say how incredible Aiyana was doing that. If any of you have ever been on a film set, but to actually perform live, singing.
And the whole company.
Everybody, yeah. Cameras in your face, Denzel watching right
I had
there.
a crew about 100 people on the set. Really.
I was blown away.
Oh, thank you.
Blown away. But that's just another testament to what Denzel brings to the table, because he does something different every time,
Yeah.
and he was kind of producing there a little bit. I want to make
playing character.
her vulnerable,
Oh, yeah.
and that's
Boy, did it work.
and it worked.
I was vulnerable, y'all.
Yeah,
I was scared. I was scared in that take. I looked back at it and I was like, oh, wow. Like, he really...
It was great
Yeah,
because you
it
could
felt
hear
real.
her
It was
even
really-
gasping for breath
Yeah.
because you were back on your heels.
Yeah. Yeah.
That leads me to want to ask Howard, when you're scoring films, where does it usually start? Do you see the script and you're starting to compose, or do you actually score to film scenes? Just with you saying that scene was live, that's really interesting. So I wanted to know your process there.
It always comes from a script with Spike. He'll send me the script and you read it, and I'll write a bunch of themes for him, for character themes, and that's where it starts.
And you were mentioning earlier to me as well, just outside, that you were actually live scoring. Is that true? You were saying that when you were on set, you were making sure everything was good with the song at the very end of them.
That was the song. I was there and we were making sure that mics were set up correctly and that we'd be able to get what we needed.
For
Yeah,
highest to
exactly.
lowest, yes, of
Exactly,
course,
yeah.
of course. And I just wanted to go back to highest to lowest really quick, because your voice is like an instrument. And I just wanted to ask about your songwriting process. What's the song about at its core
That
for
wasn't
you?
the first one you gave, right?
Well, that's what I was gonna start with. It started with me and Spike going back and forth probably for a week or so. I probably wrote 10 songs. I got like an album full of Spike Lee joints in my computer, so that's there. But you know, I think his process is so incredible, and he's always put music in such an incredible light, and he's always had that love and passion, and I think it shows through, even from us going through the process of finding what is that moment, what's the crescendo of that moment at the end, and how do we cultivate something that really reels people into this finale that is also rooted in such raw honesty. So I think, you know, his note of being real, being honest about my story, just me as an artist, me as a human being, and bringing that into this, just being real, being honest, and telling my story and using it as a kind of vehicle for this character to have that moment at the end.
Absolutely, it totally reflected in the film as well. It felt very authentic, and I think it was an absolute perfect ending to the film. Thank you all so much for being here. Spike's like, wait, I have more to say.
Wait a minute. Wait a cotton picking minute. This is music, right?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
You can't not talk about the late great Eddie Palmieri.
Oh man.
That scene was absolutely incredible.
Come on now.
That No, you're right. That was an amazing point in the film, and I can only imagine how scoring that and getting him involved just like really heightened the film. It put the check mark on it, you know?
He was doing a week gig at the Blue Note in the village, and I told him I was coming, so well, you know, the Blue Note, the dressing room was up the steps, so we went up there. We're big sports fans too, so we talk about the Knicks most of the time. Anyway, I told him a scenario, and he did like, it was funny. We did like 8 takes for that. And after 8 take, the band was looking at me like, yeah, do and he wanted to do another one. He wanted to do one more, uno más. I said, my brother, we got it. And he was so happy that day. And he passed away 2 days before the premiere in Brooklyn. And that song, Puerto Rico, we had used earlier in my film, Crumble. So, here's the reason why here's the thing. We wanted the audience to know that there was a master plan behind this drop. So he's already coming out of prison in Attica. So he doesn't want to go back. This is, you know, Felon's character. So he's trying to make a full proof plan. Because he has to get the money. And the detectives peeped the signs earlier when they say, you know, they want to wire 100 in Swiss francs. And he said, this 10,000, you know, you can't. So right away we know the guy's smart. And so then he said, we're going to put it on the number 4 train. Then I'm thinking this young fun. So it was on the subway. There's got to be crowded. Oh, I'm a Yankee fan. Let me see when the hated motherfucking Red Sox are coming to Yankee Stadium on a weekend. So Friday night, Saturday night, night game. Sunday, then day games. Yankees, Red Sox, packed. Subway is going to be packed. I said, well, let me add another layer. Historically, Puerto Rican Day parades are on a Sunday. And I said, what? All right, now I'm going to add the Puerto Rican Day parade. I said, oh, let's get Eddie Palmieri. So all this thing came together. And then I'm a big cinephile, and I went to John Dewey High School in Brooklyn, New York, Coney Island. And the stop we got off was Bay 50th. And for those who know, that great film, The French Connection, directed by Billy Friedkin, that chasing started at my high school stop, Bay 50th. But we didn't know it, because we were in class. So we didn't know that when we come out and we see the sign, we're, oh. Also, that song is, that scene is infamous because they did that without any police, nothing. And Friedkin said many times before he passed that, lucky nobody got hurt. And then I cast Dean Winter, Mr. Mayhem, with the Gene Hackman part. So when he's going through the Bronx, that's Gene Hackman going through Brooklyn, you know, under the L with the Bay 50th. So there were things like that, you know, we worked into the film.
What was Eddie's reaction when you first reached out and asked, hey, we have this scene. It's a bit crazy, but...
No, he said, let's go. Let me know. He was like gung-ho. And you could see that he's having so much fun. Playing the piano with his arm and his hand. I mean, he was just... And the Eddie Palmieri South Orchestra, amazing musicians. And now there's an uproar about Bad Bunny. You know, people are stupid.
Yeah.
Puerto Rico is part of one of the United States. You didn't know that. I'm not gonna curse anymore. But WTF? Where do you think Puerto Rico is? Alright.
Well said. No, it was a perfect moment in the film. It was great to
I'm
highlight.
starting to twitch. We gotta.
You're like, now you can wrap it up. It's like, okay, we're good. No, thank you guys so much.
Puerto Rico. Now we have the alternative thing on YouTube. The people, the alternative. You heard about this? Alternative halftime show.
Yeah, that's like the
There's a MAGA
You hear about
halftime
it?
show.
Forget it.
We heard about that.
Google.
Yeah.
So, when halftime starts, people go into another. Matt Damon. No. I don't know. Somebody, not that, but somebody.
Boston Brothers. Boston Brothers.
The actors.
Damn.
What?
Affleck.
Affleck.
Yeah. Who?
Ben
Ben and Casey.
Ben and Casey.
Affleck.
Not Affleck. The other.
Wahlberg.
Wahlberg.
Oh.
Him.
What about him?
He said something, man. We were cool, but he said some messed up stuff.
Mark.
So, last thing. I promise.
It's okay. We like you speaking on it.
Last thing, I promise. So in doing the multitude of press for this film, you know, sooner or later I know it's gonna come back to politics, and they asked me to speak on it, and I try to keep it very short. One of the films I really love is a Peter Weir film, and Mel Gibson. I mean, I'm not talking about his politics, but he was a star of that film. And the name of that film was called The Year of Living Dangerously, and that's where we are now. The Year of Living Dangerously. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you,
You've
everyone.
been a great audience.
Thank you everyone so much. Please join us for a reception downstairs as well as a special performance.
Yeah, I'll be downstairs. I got a red eye, but I'll be a little